joined us as well. You're very welcome to today's event, the European Conference on Connected and Automated Driving. So, in line with the European Green Deal and the Sustainable Smart Mobility Strategy, it's the ambition of the European Commission to foster development for the uptake for smart, safe, resilient and sustainable transport for all. And that will help us, of course, deliver on the EU's digital and green priorities. So we want transport that is affordable, user-oriented and inclusive. And we're going to talk about that over the next 2 days and talk about where the challenges still are and what perhaps needs to be done next. My name is Jennifer Baker. I am a tech policy journalist based here in Brussels, and I will be moderating some of the panels and guiding you through the programme. We have lots of different things going on. There will be keynote speeches, there will be breakout sessions, and we will also then have a lot of feedback at the end as well. We're going to take stock of the latest research, policy and regulatory developments. We're going to discuss if technology and society are ready for large-scale deployment by 2030, and we're going to look at how public and private have joined forces and the successes of the CCAM partnership. And then, as I said before, we're going to look at the barriers that are still there and how they can be removed in a way that is conducive to really delivering on the aims. And those barriers, they may be technical, operational, societal or economic, but we're going to try and tackle them all. So I want everyone to be as involved as possible. This morning we're going to set the scene with some opening speeches, and then there's going to be 2 panel debates. In the afternoon, as I say, we will have breakout sessions. So I would encourage everyone to put their phones on silent, but don't leave them too far away. Feel free to share on social media. Get those who are not in the room involved by using the hashtag EUCAD2023. This is the first time we're all here since 2019, so that is absolutely lovely, but we do want to encourage those further afield and perhaps around Europe to feel that they can join in some of the discussions remotely as well. We will be using the Slido tool for some of the breakout sessions. I won't go into any detail about that now, but you will be explained what to do when the time comes. And you may have noticed on your way in, there are lots of things to do around the Charlemagne building and around the Berlaymont building. We'll tell you about those. I'll remind you during the breaks and the lunch breaks where to go to see things that are happening and demonstrations as well. There will be lunch served, but don't spend all your time eating. Spend it having a look at some of those vehicles that are going to be on display, as well as the small autonomous robot. We will see it running around as well. At the very end, I will remind you again that we have a questionnaire form that you can fill out, and that there is a scoping paper available on the SharePoint. So lots to do, but we're going to set the scene, and I'm going to invite our first of our opening speakers on stage to join me, please. Signor Razzo is Deputy Director General and a member of the Management Board of the Directorate General for Research and Innovation of the European Commission, and she is the Chief Negotiator for the Horizon Europe Associations and responsible for open innovation and citizens' engagement in research and innovation policy. So, you have a tough task. Set the scene. Tell us what we're going to talk about as well over the next couple of days and what you would like to see get out of it.
Many thanks, Jennifer, for your kind introduction. I'll serve myself. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to welcome you here today and to open the 4th edition of the EUCAD conference. It is a real pleasure to see so many people first here in this hall and also people joining us online. Today we are witnessing a really rapid uptake of connected, cooperated and automated transport technologies around the world. Just to give you a few examples. Passenger cars are already allowed to drive without human intervention in traffic jams on German highways. Autonomous shuttles are already deployed in specific sites, such as the case of the shuttles liaising the parking area of Toulouse Hospital to its main entrance. Autonomous vehicles are starting to be introduced for logistics operations in areas such as ports, airports, and mining areas. At the Port of Barcelona, Paris, Charles de Gaulle, or Gatwick airports are only a few sites in which such services are being introduced. We strongly believe that in the added value of automated mobility. First, in contributing to the greening of our planet by optimizing traffic flows, by enabling the introduction of new shared mobility services. Second, in extending mobility services to those that today still do not have direct access to public transportation at an affordable price. And finally, of course, in reducing the unacceptable number of persons that are killed or injured every day on our roads. This is why the European Commission is putting such a big effort in this domain. And the CCAM partnership is a key tool in this domain. Although established only 2 years ago, we are already witnessing the evident added value of the partnership. We now have a solid vision and a roadmap for CCAM development agreed among all relevant stakeholders. This roadmap, the Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda, is currently being updated to make sure that it fully reflects the evolving ecosystem in which CCAM is plugged into. Since the establishment of the partnership, we have launched already 18 new research projects with an overall EU contribution of more than 150 million euros. We are glad to acknowledge that all these projects have a sense of belonging to a bigger picture. They rightly see themselves as building blocks contributing to the achievement of a longer-term objective. Our CCAM part of the work programme now for 23-24 foresees another 16 projects to be launched for an overall value of 112 million euros, covering areas such as connectivity, testing, artificial intelligence, and societal impact. You see, the various angles will be also touched upon with these research projects. And the 2023 call is actually opening tomorrow morning and will close on the 5th of September. So I think that we couldn't have organized this conference at a better moment, so that now I can really promote this call to all of you. We are confident also that through a partnership, we can give a major push to bring innovative mobility solutions to the market, to make them affordable and accessible to all. However, in order to fully exploit the potential of these innovations, we have to manage properly the long transition phase to driverless mobility. I participated in these conferences since 2018, and I remember that there was, well, we already expected that things will come to the point that we are still expecting by 2024-23. This has not happened yet, but we need to be prepared. We need to do everything that is needed really to be prepared for the moment. We can really already see the large-scale automating driving affordable and accessible to everyone, as I said. Really, we need to fully exploit these new innovations. We have also to manage properly the transition phase to driverless mobility. And we absolutely want to be sure that the EU stays in the driving seat in this process. As we know, that there are also our collaborators and competitors around the world who also take important steps towards this direction. And the path to automation is not only about bringing technologies to the right level of maturity. We also need to make sure that future automated vehicles are embedded in the transport system that also takes into account social inclusion, low emissions, and overall efficiency. We must reach a better understanding of how road users and society at large perceive the value of the future use of these systems. The citizens really need to trust these systems in order to take the decision to really use them. And this is why we are regularly supporting also research to assess the impact, but also the benefits and cost of the deployment of these solutions on the roads. While preserving the European interests, this is not clearly the process that can be conducted in isolation. As we know, the market for autonomous vehicles, either dedicated to passengers or freight transportation, is a global one. And as such, we need to maintain solid collaboration links with our strategic partners around the world that are working on this in order to avoid unaffordable fragmentation of the overall market. We've been doing a lot of collaboration already with the US, with Japan and also other countries. And this is also the reason why international collaboration is explicitly encouraged also in the text of the CCAM topics. And I'm very glad to acknowledge the international flavor also for this event, and I welcome the many international attendees that are either here today with us or following through the web streaming channel. And now let me come to my last point. In 2018, Commission adopted a communication on the road to automated mobility, an EU strategy for mobility of the future. And this communication delivered an ambitious agenda to prepare the ground for an optimal rollout of technologies leading the way to automated road transportation. And among others, the communication set also the basis for the update of the General Safety Regulation and also for the introduction of the Automated Driving Systems Implementing Act that puts in place the necessary legal framework for the deployment. It also set the conditions for the establishment of the CCAM partnership itself. And actually, since 2018, we have already achieved a lot. This is why now it's time to take stock of the achievements, really to make sure that we solidly build on them in the prosecution of our activities. And that's why it's my pleasure to announce that we aim at publishing a Commission staff working document on CCAM before the end of the year, aimed at precisely monitoring the progress since at the time of the communication. This document would represent opportunity to re-evaluate the overall CCAM landscape and also to provide a comprehensive picture that reflects the priorities that have been set out. So it will go beyond research. It will address also a number of issues such as the regulatory framework, initiatives launched under different European funding instruments. And all these dimensions, I'm very pleased to see, also will be thoroughly discussed in the next couple of days. Ladies and gentlemen, I can now only end by thanking you again for being here with us today, and we'd like to invite you to make the most of this opportunity to take a very active part in all the sessions in order to discuss all the issues that need to be discussed. Thank you very much for your attention. It's been my great pleasure to be with you here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Far more eloquent than I could have put it, but also, as you say, really good timing for our conference this year. I'm going to give the floor to our next speaker, who is Deputy Director General and Director responsible for investment, innovative and sustainable transport in DG Mobility. Harald Reuters is also the man who can tell us all about the Connecting Europe facility, Horizon Europe and Invest EU. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jennifer, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dear Signe, dear Nikolai, it's very good to see you here in person, and I'm really happy about that. Last time still online, and now seeing in person, I think, is making a real difference. And presence in a room is something different than online. I myself am really attached to working in person and in office, because I think we very often lose out of sight that work is not only about delivering specific goals, but also about being together and creating an environment like we would like to see it in the future. And I'm very happy that you all came, and I thank you for being here in person so that we can create the future of Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are witnessing not less than a revolution in mobility. Technological drivers such as automation, connectivity, and low-carbon technologies coupled with new sharing mobility trends are completely redefining the business of getting around. Our sustainable and smart mobility strategy is all about this transition, and we believe that the recent developments and crises in the world are just only stressing that we need this revolution. The COVID crisis, the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine, the climate change demonstrate how much we need to go and implement our strategy as quickly as possible. One of the goals is to achieve a large-scale deployment of cooperative, connected and automated mobility services by 2030. To get there, we are striving to make our current mobility and transport networks smarter and sustainable with the initiatives to digitalize transport. There is much we can do, from having a more transport information shared and reused in real time for traffic management, planning of transport choices, road safety, and innovative digital mobility services to our users. The key to achieve these outcomes and visions is connectivity. Connecting vehicles with each other and with the infrastructure allows to make smarter and safer choices, improving traffic management, avoiding congestion and accidents. And this is what we call cooperative intelligent transport systems, CITS. Europe is taking a strong lead in that deployment. Currently, we have close to 1 million vehicles equipped with CITS on the road and hundreds of them joining every day. We also have about 20,000 kilometers of road equipped and many more CITS stations which are planned. It is particularly pleasing to see cities also getting on board now. And of course, in parallel, we are pursuing a work on the revision of the ITS directive to mandate the collection of crucial transport data and the provision of essential services such as real-time information services for safety and sustainable travel choices. This goes in hand with an initiative to create also a common European mobility data space, facilitating access, pooling and sharing of data from existing and future transport and mobility data sources. It is not so easy, you will understand, to get here also to results. In the Council, we are witnessing that member states are not eager to go along this road, and we are fighting for it in order to get the ITS directive with its minimum requirements for member states in place. And I hope that with the Swedish presidency and perhaps also with the Spanish, we can get to a satisfactory result on the ITS directive. Equally for EMDS, I expect that there will be quite a bit of discussion and input necessary from all stakeholders, and I'm happy that we are gathering here today to discuss these issues. Improving connectivity is also a key enabler for higher levels of automation, allowing driverless vehicles to coordinate their maneuvers safely and efficiently. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is not contradictory with our ambitions on multimodality. On the contrary, driverless vehicles are excellent feeders for even more sustainable choices, offering efficient door-to-door multimodality. Driverless vehicles can do away with the remaining constraints of zero-emission mobility. After all, then nobody needs to worry about range of the vehicle or charging times when you have an entire fleet at your disposal that can go itself to recharge when it needs to. The predicted impact of CCM breakthrough technologies and services on road transport externalities could contribute significantly to achieving efficient, safe, sustainable and inclusive multimodal transport system for the future. Our work with the CCM partnership through Horizon Europe projects has been one of the ways to work together in building knowledge and testing of innovative transport solutions for the future of transport. And I thank you, Signe, for your speech and the work that you are doing with RTD and that we are jointly doing across the CCM partnership. At the same time, it is important to have European approach in building the digital road infrastructure to support seamless mobility and future CCM services. And I'm glad to know that we are looking for synergies, Signe, between the Horizon Europe and Connecting Europe facility and also other programs that have to be put in place to bridge the gap between research and deployment of ITS services, which is what also will be highlighted later during the day and what we are trying to do actively, also with a call that will be launched in September, Signe, that finishes in January, and the current call that is under evaluation right now, where we are discussing also the uptake and rollout of ITS and CITS. We are therefore looking forward to see today how projects can demonstrate and prove that CCM solutions can achieve our vision on mobility. Myself, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that we can do so. We have seen a quite quick turnaround of the proposals that the Commission made in the Fit for 55. The AFIR, the Alternative Fuel Infrastructure Regulation, the Fuel Aviation and Fuel EU Maritime, which are all three now accepted and are being rolled out. And I'm grateful that there has been a very good deal that has been possible due to the presidencies that we have seen, and now the Swedish one that has been able to close these discussions. In fact, I think a few years ago we would not have believed that electric mobility would take such a swift development across Europe. And we now see that through all the joint efforts that we are putting in place from Commission side, but also with the Member States and our partners that are responsible for these, we can realize such a new mobility system in Europe. I think that also the discussions of today shall contribute to make another step in mobility, that we can still enhance the efficiencies and that we can make sure that when we are all driving also in a, I would say, fully electrified transport system, that we also then can exploit the efficiencies that can be offered by CCAM and that can be offered by the innovations that we still need, for which we need to work hand in hand between RTD, MOVE and all the other services that are around in the Commission and with you as stakeholders here in this room. I therefore wish you also very exciting discussions here today, and I hope that we can be bold and fearless to innovate Europe in transport terms. Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed as well. And our final speaker for this opening section has a career of 25 years in the automotive industry, including at BMW and at Audi. But, as you can see behind me on the big slide, Nikolai Ardi is now Executive Director at the Volkswagen Group Innovation. So please, Nikolai, tell us all about the transformation of mobility.
Thank you very much for this kind introduction. Commercial fleets of autonomous robotaxis and autonomous buses already under operation in cities like Guangzhou, like Shanghai, Beijing, and others. The first license to a passenger drone to be granted in Singapore, and we heard just before about the European ambitions in that direction. So future mobility has taken off right now. And it's us all to speed up to establish Europe to be the epicenter of future mobility. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure and honor to speak in front of this distinguished audience. And I'm really looking forward to explore into the most recent technological and policy developments in the area of connected, cooperative, automated mobility, CCAM. It's hard, of course, to follow on the excellent speeches just given previously. But give me a try to broaden the horizon a bit and to explain automotive industry's perspective on sustainable mobility, or how we call it, the way to zero. Connected automated driving along with zero-emission mobility is at the forefront of this sustainable and fundamental switch. We are here today to discuss the essential transformation of mobility. It confronts society and industry with major challenges and is taken to be a real game changer. Our aim is zero from a Series 60 perspective. Zero latencies, fatalities, zero emissions on roads, and zero emission of our whole value chain. While there are challenges associated with this disruption, the potential benefits in terms of sustainability and economical growth are obviously enormous. Our industry is committed to lead the transformation into sustainable mobility, and we are convinced It will be a team sport rather than a solo play. This transformation will require collaboration of the whole automotive value chain in an open dialogue with government and society. And the European ecosystem is a strong asset here. Addressing climate change and digitalization in a sustainable, safe, smart, and inclusive way is crucial, of course. Volkswagen, as well as in general the entire automotive industry, has committed to achieving the targets of the Paris Agreement and the according European Green Deal objectives. Allow me to make it on our behalf representing the entire industry, which is on the same track, of course. The long-term goal for Volkswagen is to become completely CO2 neutral by 2050. This requires a holistic and circular approach to decarbonization from production through service life, recycling, and back to production. We have set ambitious milestones in our way to zero. 14 billion euros investment in addition to decarbonization by 2025. The targeted and well-known 40% reduction in CO2 emissions per vehicle in Europe by 2030. Sustainable production means mainly renewable energy for all our production plants in Europe and South and North America until 2030, and not to forget the full decarbonization of our value chain and supply chain. How to meet these milestones and transition to sustainable mobility? The European automotive sector spends 57 billion euros in R&D on that purpose per year to reach that goal. In addition, to ensure collaboration among a large group of stakeholders, European research projects are of major interest and major importance. With the support of the European Commission, we perform collaborative research, set up new industry standards, and leverage our investments. Here we profit from the coordinated approach of the European partnerships such as CCAM and 2.0. Today I would like to focus a little bit more on the potential of connected, cooperative and automated driving to shape the future mobility systems and to contribute to our vision of smart and sustainable mobility. The expected positive impacts for society in terms of road safety, efficiency, environment, and inclusiveness are obvious and well known. For the first time, the European Commission-funded flagship project L3 Pilot has successfully demonstrated those benefits in large scale and piloting in real road traffic conditions. It became apparent that connected automated driving systems fully integrated in the transport system and accompanied by the decarbonization measures are the right means for achieving the envisioned social impacts. Advancing connected automated driving is a multi-stakeholders effort. The technology cannot be developed in isolation as it will have a major influence on the road traffic system and needs to interact with humans, vehicles, and infrastructure. So how to get there? We, the vehicle manufacturers, will further develop automated driving technology and its practical applications and provide, of course, the necessary technical expertise to support regulation. A main challenge for all of us is the technical complexity. The maturity of the vehicles and the integrated systems are really complex. Mastering it requires an effort in two areas. First, vehicle and products and key enabling technologies such as connectivity, artificial intelligence, big data, and cybersecurity. Second, of course, safety, verification, and validation. We integrate safety by design and consider safety aspects on each level of system and in every stage of development, from design to testing and through its validation. This implies mastering all imaginable driving situations and creating true redundancy. We believe the success of automated mobility depends on user adoption and social acceptance. Of course, we are working on design solutions and standards to evaluate human misuse, skill degradation, not to forget, and the level of trust. We set requirements for our vehicle internal and external interactions to be self-explanatory, to be intuitive and inclusive. As the technology matures, the development naturally shifts from driver-centered mobility to mobility user-centered design. We are well aware that our systems must be made interoperable between all the brands, but also functioning across borders. They have to support new mobility concepts that can be integrated into a single mobility-as-a-service transport system. This is complex, and this complex endeavor requires an innovation ecosystem for all stakeholders to collaborate. We need to align public and private investments and work together towards our common vision. Before automated mobility can become a common sight on our roads, Europe needs to harmonize relevant regulations and the legal framework for deployment, support large-scale and cross-border testing of automated systems, upgrade and adapt physical and digital road infrastructure, and inform and educate the general public as well as future drivers, or should I better say passengers, of automated vehicles. The technology platforms and Horizon Europe partnerships such as CCAM are essential in supporting this ambition. I'd like to bring your attention once more back to our vision on the way to zero. Climate neutral, sustainable mobility, and we need to combine technologies from zero emission mobility and CCAM in cities and rural areas and create large-scale demonstration projects to accelerate the exchange. Remember, we have to speed up. Our goal is to initiate in multi-stakeholder setting a pan-European testing environment for climate neutral and automated mobility in order to establish Europe as the epicenter of future mobility. And we count on the support of the European Commission for this initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, the future is happening. Implementation of our common vision today in the Autoworld Museum, and our research and concept vehicles in the exhibition area provide a very good overview of our ideas and activities of the mobility of the future. Our concepts perfectly combine the necessary elements on the road to safe, user-centric and sustainable mobility. Thank you very much, and I'm really looking forward to meet you at the Autoworld Museum this evening.